can get there. Well, hey, welcome back.
Why are you wringing your hands?
I don't know. I just had something on it.
Hi, kids.
I got an evil plan. You're gonna love this.
Even the sound was so loud.
Well, yeah, that's because I got like sandpaper hands.
17
now.
calluses on your hand.
Yeah.
All at once.
30 grade.
Yeah.
He's over here polishing the table.
I honestly, the funny thing is
that how you shave?
It's weird when people can't do that. Like to me, I just think everybody does that because my hands have always been kind of rough.
I dip my hands in honey and oil at the end of every night, just so I don't make that sound.
That's my bad.
Wow, quit it.
I bumped his mic.
Okay, go on.
Zero.
Try not to ring
What
your
are we talking about today?
All right, we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and Quantumania, right? Well, they say the Wasp, but it's okay if I just say Ant-Man.
Is
Cut.
Is it the Ant-Man, the Wasp, and the Quantumania in the title?
I'm gonna say
That'd be funny if it was that many hands, too.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I like that,
Yeah.
even though I like mine better.
I think
But
they
whatever.
liked it too because that's what they named it. That's actually what it's called.
So,
You
yeah,
should
that's what we're going to be
work for
talking
Disney.
about is that movie's pretty big.
Yeah.
And what?
I was just say you're about to say it again. Don't.
No,
butcher
I'm not
it
going to say
again.
it. He already said it. So
Yep.
you know what we're talking about. If not, rewind. He'll tell you.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we're going to talk about, which opens up a lot. So get ready because this is going to be really, really good or really ugly.
And
It's gonna melt your face off.
Movies and chill with Zak and Dill. That'll get my giggle box going.
Movies and chill with Zak and Dill.
Our pet heads are falling off!
Movies and chill
Great Scott!
with Zak and Dill.
Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Movies and
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
chill.
Well, sorry!
Zak and Dill.
Spartans! Prepare for glory!
The great Oz has spoken.
Movies and chill.
Get to the podcast now.
Welcome in. Movies
Yo.
and Chill.
We're back.
This is Zach. I'm Dill. In third chair today, Luke.
hello,
He's returned again.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ant-Man 3. That's what we're talking about today. It shouldn't have been called Ant-Man 3 because Quantumania was really stupid.
Did they call it Ant-Man? No, they said Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
The second one.
They haven't
Ant-Man and the
done two or
Wasp
three.
and the Quantumania,
Yeah,
all in one.
Yeah.
A little much.
Actually, let's do something fun. I just thought of this. Before we get going, I want to hear like 1 to 10. You can do halves. So I guess let's do 1 out of 100. Give me a number, 1 out of 100, what you thought of Ant-Man 3. Okay, let's start with Lou. Just give me a broad number, just based on everything, CGI acting, plot, everything.
4.5, 45.
45? Okay.
Hard medium.
I'd say about 65.
65?
Yeah.
I might go right in the middle. I'm going to say 50.
Yeah.
Maybe 55
Yeah.
out of 100.
There's nothing overtly bad. There's nothing memorable about it.
And honestly, now that you say that, and I was just thinking about it beforehand. That's why I said golf for your notes because I'm sitting there going, well, I do remember parts, but not everything. Like there was a lot and it might have been just because there was a lot going on, and I didn't, go.
Visually, yes.
Yeah, I haven't gone back and like looked, went through and actually looked at everything on the movie yet. So, but yeah, that's why I said it's not for me. It's like I like the movie, but there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that have stuck to my mind. It's more about okay, cool. I can't wait to what happens next.
Can you not wait though? Because I was super excited for Ant-Man 3 for the implications. The
Yeah.
start of Phase 5.
Yeah.
It's introducing the Thanos level bad guy in Phase 5 and 6.
Mhm.
I was left with a lot of questions, and the ones that were answered were not very reassuring. And I think I'm with you.
Mhm.
If you can't remember something that you just saw, how memorable was
I
it?
thought about going and seeing it again just because, just a refresher, but I couldn't find time this week to do it.
I almost think that's maybe it's one of the movies to watch it again. Maybe it'll be stand out a little bit more for you. But
That happens to me sometimes.
I mean, I was excited. I'm like you guys. I was excited to see it, and there was a lot of neat stuff. But overall, now I sit there and think about it, it's like it's not stuck in my head. Like
No.
there's not stuff stuck in my head. Like even, but you can't really. The funny thing is I don't want to say it's bad either because like Thor: Love and Thunder, all the
that
horrible
was
stuff
bad.
that stuck in your head because of how bad it was.
That's a
So-
premium bad example.
Yeah. So I mean that's so maybe it's kind of like a blah in the middle. So maybe it's closer to leaning towards 50%.
Okay.
Because
We're dragging him down.
Well,
well, it's not bad. Like you said, it's not really necessarily a bad thing. But it's like when I go off of what you say, I agree. There's not. I don't sit there and remember. Oh, that was cool. Like that was neat. I mean, it was neat in the theater. A lot of the stuff they were doing with the special effects, but
The special effects look decent. I
Yeah.
mean, there were some spots where I didn't really like what I was seeing, but just,
before we dive too far,
Yeah.
I don't want to give away.
Yeah, exactly.
spoilers
Let's not go
before
into that,
we're
yeah. Well,
ready for
okay,
it.
so what's
what I wanted to first put out there is there are heavy spoilers ahead. We're going to talk about Ant-Man 3. Obviously, if you weren't prepared for that, go watch it, then watch our opinions. But,
Reread the title of the podcast too.
yeah, this is definitely spoiler full.
because it'll be called it'll say at the bottom Ant-Man 3. That's all it'll say because I can't say the real title.
So I always say, if you can, in like a paragraph or just short form, tell somebody what a movie is about, the movie could have been written in crayon. Because a complex movie, a movie that has implications like Ant-Man 3 should have had, I don't think you'd be able to explain it in a paragraph.
I mean,
But-
if you had to explain how they got to the quantum realm, if you had to explain all that, but if they're up to speed on, like,
Let's assume we can just call it a teleporter. See, this is what I mean. Like, you don't have to be a genius to watch this movie. You can
No.
see, oh, they've made a machine that brings them to a place.
Don't you think though, if you really think about Ant-Man, the whole series, it's really basic. Like
It is.
There's not really like we got this technology. Don't really explain it. They just say they have this technology. They don't
Yeah.
go into it. You don't get in. You don't really see them. You kind of see them, working something. It's like they, for some reason, they just know all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that you assume they're all smart. And
I got a point about that
Okay.
to make once we get into
Yeah.
details.
Which is exactly why I hate the Big Bang Theory, because they say so many smart things, but when you break it down, it's like what you're saying is really just a bunch of nonsense,
yeah.
and you're just treating the audience like we're stupid. But anyway, I'm just not a fan of the show. I know a lot of people love the Big Bang Theory. You can like it. I
There's
just can't
good.
stand it.
There's good to it, and there's bad to it.
But about this movie, if I'm going to jot it down in a couple paragraphs or 30 seconds worth, it's very simple. Ant-Man goes to the quantum realm. They find Michelle Pfeiffer's ghosts in her closet. They fight him. He gets put into a position where he has to choose his daughter, or it's so cliche, daughter or the world.
Save the world.
Yeah, and obviously he's going to pick his daughter. No one's shocked. They all come together, find a way to stop Kang. One of the bad guys turns good for a moment, just in time to help them win. Then the stakes go really high because Ant-Man has to stay in the quantum realm. Oh no, he doesn't. They open another portal.
Yeah.
It's so unmemorable that me giving it a 5.5 is generous because it's so generic.
It was a
and
milk
bland.
run from Marvel Studios.
I do. By the way, I do agree with that. The ending where it's like no portal. Now all of a sudden there was a portal. Was like, come on. It'd have been probably better if you left them there, since that's what you were trying to say. Anyway.
This is what happened to The Walking Dead. They're scared of the stakes now.
Yeah.
The writers in the writers' room have so many pawns on the board that they're deathly afraid to put some character in the wrong position for the next thing that they're going to be in. It's oversaturated. It's starting to water down and really hurt the writing.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Ant-Man 2.
Kevin Feige says, this person has to make it to this movie, and whether or not that works with their own standalone movie. And Can we get into spoilers now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We can. I think I just spoiled the whole movie, didn't I?
So, like, well, first off, one thing I hated was the setting being in 100% in the quantum realm, because there's no frame of reference in your surroundings. Scott Lang pushes his button and turns into Giant Man. There's no buildings. There's nothing. You can't tell. It's really hard to tell throughout the whole movie when he's giant and when he's not.
Well, I think the whole quantum realm in general was a problem with the movie. Just as far as I know movies have CGI in it. I know that, but the amount of CGI in this movie,
The whole movie was CGI.
the whole movie is. At no point did I think that these actors are actually standing in a place other than in front of a green screen. There was no. They weren't even really trying. It didn't seem like the characters were cartoony.
How do you act like that? Like,
I don't know.
Like,
I think it was
I'm
rigid because of it.
I'm surrounded by green. I can get in the moment. And act.
Yeah, for sure. Like, oh, you're in a funny suit. At least
That-
if you're in a
Yeah.
scene with somebody, you can both pretend because you're in funny
think
suits.
about how
Yeah,
like,
you can play off.
you know, think about it. You know, Michael Douglas had to pretend like he had his hand in these slimes when he's
Yeah.
But that's all. Like if you actually saw him in real life, he's just doing this.
He's
Oh.
driving a car with noodles,
Yeah,
He's pretending to be grossed out by air. He's like,
or maybe they really gave him like gack to put his hands in.
He's like, yeah.
they made some tubes for him.
Yeah, and then he looked over and like
The one
director,
practical
do I
effect of the
really
movie.
have to do this? Do
Yeah.
I really have? That's my Michael Douglas. Do I really have to put my hands
He's
in
like,
there?
Grandpa, do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Michelle Pfeiffer won't do it. You got to do it.
Mhm.
She's not going to do it.
No,
She says no.
no, she said no.
Let's start with the trailer. The trailer, when it started to come out, we were super jazzed up about it. There was another good one around Super Bowl time that you started to feel the stakes for Ant-Man. A lot of people speculated he may die. But really what you felt was Scott's like journey from Ant-Man 1 to now.
Mhm.
It felt like he had some growth.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that he would be forced to look at the time he's lost with his daughter, the time he's lost with everyone, and that Kang would play off of that.
Mhm.
That's what the trailer teased.
Mhm.
What you got in the movie, he just protects his daughter. That was his only motivation.
Yeah.
Like the line from the trailer where he's like, "I can give you your years back."
Right.
That's it.
There was no plot point at all
He didn't like
for that. They didn't chase it at all.
no. But how do you chase that? I mean,
How do you chase that? There were no stakes for Ant-Man in this movie whatsoever.
no.
He got put in a situation that Hawkeye could have been in. He got put in a situation that any of the Avengers, any character in Marvel could have been in the quantum realm and having to go up against Kang and MODOK.
Yeah.
Where did Ant-Man distinguish himself from the crowd? When did Ant-Man become the star of his own movie? That movie was about Kang. That movie was not about Ant-Man.
Well,
How did he grow? How did he?
Well,
What did he face other than the obvious
no,
villain
it's
in
not
front
like
of
to
him?
me. If a lot of it was they were trying to build up the character of his daughter.
She got a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was like they were trying to build up her more than anything. Kind of like they've been doing with a lot of the shows and stuff. They're trying to build up this younger character for some reason.
what's her superhero name?
Stature.
Stature.
Yeah.
I can't keep the Young Avengers names in my head.
Why Stature?
Like,
What a weird.
I don't know. Like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
tall you are. Your stature.
Well, I know, but like
It's a play on
Ant-Man,
size.
Wasp, Stature. Like
Ant-Man and the Wasp were
I
taken.
gave up. I don't know any more Bugs names.
Yeah.
This is
If she was ugly, you could have called her stink bug or something.
this is Horsefly.
Yeah.
Sarah Jessica Parker walks out.
Face fly. I felt like they didn't give Ant-Man anything to do. And more than Ant-Man not having anything to do, the Wasp was severely underserved in this movie.
Oh,
She
yeah.
follows around her parents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
She does
I feel like
nothing in the movie.
That her role in the movie was like, are they trying to get rid of her? Because it's like, well, she didn't do anything, so might not need her in the next one or something.
Well,
You know what I mean? 'Cause
They,
there was
they had
really-
situations where Scott needed to fly out of a situation.
Yeah.
That was her role.
Okay, well,
But they could have
did
used her a lot more. I agree.
They did the obligatory at the beginning of the movie. Ant-Man, who's a white male, complete buffoon, complete idiot, doesn't know what he's doing with his life. He's ruining it. He's got a podcast, but he's wasting his talent. Even his daughter, who's big time activist, and the woke was palpable in that moment. And even his daughter is more woke than he is. Then you've got a glimpse of Wasp, and she's running things. She's a CEO. She doesn't have time for silly podcasts and all this lollygagging around. And that's cool, except for the fact that you gave her nothing to do in the movie. So really, she's just a prude that has powers that doesn't use them. I really hated that take on Wasp. It made her uninteresting. She seemed repelled by the idea of having children with Scott and having a family of their own because she's much too busy having a career.
Yeah.
They really poured that on thick.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not serving our country or the story at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm taking that really far and maybe too deep, but if you think about cinema, it mirrors culture. Cinema does.
You were saying that, I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, I totally see that.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's not like I'm sitting there going, well, he's just doing that because he's like, no, you literally can see that. You see that's like, wait a minute, this is a good character. Why is she used to be kind of like not wanting to be around Scott and stuff, and now they're supposed to be.
But are they in a relationship or not?
Yeah. Now it doesn't seem like they are.
She seemed like she was bothered by the fact that Scott's even there at all, and that it's more of a burden for her to deal with Scott than to be with Scott.
I think a lot of that was down to the fact that 3 minutes into the movie, the cast splits into two groups. And they were kept apart.
And we had to get this like flash forward of hey, this is what they've been doing.
They didn't come back together till the third act of the movie, and by that, there's not a lot of time for, I don't know, like displays of affection, I guess is what you would call it.
There used to be a name for that. I think it was bad writing. It's bad writing.
Yeah, I'll agree.
You can't split the title characters and not have them come together for any kind of growth whatsoever.
They were in the final fight scene.
Great.
That's enough.
That's every Marvel movie since Iron Man.
Yeah.
They're in the final fight scene together, holding hands. Okay. Nothing this movie did was new. Nothing this movie did was interesting at all as far as whether it's already been done or not. Everything that was in this movie has been done. Yeah. Including the mirroring from Kang to Thanos, like making him the big bad. If anything, I was underwhelmed.
What I don't get is how, I get there's different directors, but Marvel will go from Doctor Strange 2, where they're having a fight with music, literally, to this generic, I don't even know what category of plot you would put this in, because like the first Ant-Man is a heist movie through and through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to call this one. But
what would you call the second one?
I can't remember what happened. In the second one.
Four scripts thrown together.
I mean, the second one's somewhat of a heist movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
with the building that they shrunk down, and
that's true. Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of a heist movie in and of itself.
That
and
felt more like they were being hunted almost. Kind of like a manhunt movie.
But still, it's kind of like the similar,
because they were being chased by ghosts the whole time.
And the endearing part about Ant-Man is he is a thief that you want to root on.
Yeah.
But the thing he was given to do by Kang was kind of stupid to begin with. Why can't Kang do this again? Kang merely has to kill Ant-Man, take his suit, and go do this thing with his own power. Because now he has Ant-Man's tech with Kang's power. He goes in, he goes out, he goes home. But instead, we're treating the audience like they're stupid. So we say, no, Kang needs Ant-Man. No, he doesn't. He absolutely does not. He can go and do that.
He doesn't want to have to do it himself.
Okay,
it's beneath him.
That was like a cutscene at the end of one of the Avengers where Thanos says he's going to do it himself. That was a cutscene that was stupid. This is an entire movie that was that.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it myself.
But Kang doesn't do it himself, and he sits around in his throne room like a spoiled brat and doesn't do anything.
I got words for Kang. Not nice ones.
Okay. Now, I will say Jonathan Majors does a great job of being menacing in a calm way. in the way Thanos' actor Josh Brolin did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better that Kang is a person. We see CGI gone.
Yeah.
It's really Jonathan Majors standing there.
Yeah.
And they did a good job with his look, with the classic blue face, but they did it with a twist. Like, he has a functioning reason to have that blue shield. I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
I said the same thing about MODOK. I know a lot of people were up in arms about MODOK and the way they treated that character. That character's silly anyway.
Yeah.
Treat that character for what it is. That character's been so many iterations. No, you can't point to one iteration of MODOK and say that's the true MODOK. So I really didn't have a problem with it being Corey Stoll coming back as Yellow Jacket, but now he's just a head.
Yeah.
I really didn't have a problem.
He's a floating Funko Pop. Don't take it too seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that the CGI was tragic for MODOK. The suit was cool.
Yeah.
Even if they kept the mask on the whole time, that metal gold mask,
was
that was MODOK.
I think he would have looked a little bit better if they had covered up the dude's, I can't remember the actor's name, his bald head. Because MODOK's always had
like a helmet,
hair or a helmet.
Yeah.
It just looked off.
It was too much. It looked like
I get the dude's bald.
You remember those Jackbox games? It's like the logo for the Jackbox games.
Yeah.
Like the bald guy coming out of the box. That's what it kind of looked like to me. But yeah, little marketing for Jackbox games. That's our sponsor for today's video.
Hopefully.
We're not getting any money for it. I just made them. The sponsor is Jackbox Games today.
Maybe they'll hear about it and
sue us.
Maybe. Is it okay if I say I doubt it?
Is that the mailman?
Yeah.
It's come to service.
Yeah, I was just kind of going over my notes. Like I already mentioned that the relationship between Ant-Man and the Wasp was tragic at best. And even Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, like their relationship was like,
well,
they had like a loose
kind
of like when they were talking about Bill Murray.
Yeah,
you know,
there's a weird kind of.
There's a weird dichotomy there.
That was very weird. Yeah, like
they're swingers.
She was down in the quantum realm for what? Was it 30 years?
Not even an emotional beat is missed.
Yeah,
you know, Hank Pym's like, instead of being like, really, Bill Murray? Instead of that,
how do you get down?
He looks at her and he goes like, well, I had a few flings myself. Like, what? Like, that's your reaction to your wife being unfaithful in a teeny tiny realm? I just thought that was so surreal. They treat love and relationships with such irregard. Like, it was so bad the way they treated every character's relationship in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like they don't understand at all. Like, the people used to understand relationships. Yeah, they used to be like, they had down-to-earth writers who at least have spoken to a human being before. And now it's like they're so in this bubble.
Yeah.
Like the writer, I'm going to mention She-Hulk again. The writers of She-Hulk, a great example. They've never had a conversation outside of California, apparently. Never. They don't know how real people interact and what they want. And I thought that was on full display in this one as well. My biggest takeaway from the movie, is it necessary? What did it set up? The Council of Kangs?
The movie itself?
Yes.
Didn't set up anything.
Right.
It didn't set up, because they beat Kang, he was done.
All it
did
was
Kang.
All it did
no. That's what I mean. So in his, they did it in his mind. In their movie, they could be done with Ant-Man because it just set up for everything else. So they didn't. I mean,
there has to be implications. Now,
yes.
I will say the Avengers 5 and 6 directors have said there will be major deaths. Okay.
They should have done one here.
Exactly. Yeah. You're going where I'm going, because is there going to be an Ant-Man 4? Do you know that for sure?
I hope not. Not at this point.
Where are you going to go with the story?
I know that's what I'm saying.
That's going to be another Thor 4 if they do.
The only thing they did, it was like, okay, at the end he's thinking about it, but that's about it, and that was it. There's really nothing more.
In the final fight, I really thought Ant-Man was going to eat it.
He should.
Okay.
That's the only way you give this movie gravitas.
It would have given.
Well, even that.
It would have given Scott a good
Yeah.
exit from
Well,
the
even
series.
even that, it's like, or do what they were looks like they were gonna do, which is leave them in the quantum realm.
Yeah, something. You
Yeah.
need stakes.
Leave them there, and then you got something else to work with.
Yeah.
You can do, oh, they're next movie they're still there and whatever they're doing. I don't know.
Absolutely no stakes in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Like nothing. It was almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie where there's no stakes. You have a dance fight at the end and it's over.
Yeah.
Guardians 2 had Yondu's funeral.
Yeah.
That at least had some weight behind it.
Oh yeah.
But it felt like Guardians tone without the humor. Because honestly,
And
this movie's
music.
tone was much more serious than the
Yeah.
first two Ant-Man
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
But it didn't fit. Like it fit the villain, much like Thor 4 just absolutely did a disservice to Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher. He's put in a movie that was just supposed to be for laughs. There were no stakes in that movie whatsoever for Thor either.
Yeah.
I mean, even Natalie Portman, whose character has stage 4 cancer, dies, goes to Valhalla.
Yeah.
We know she can come back at any time.
Yeah.
There's no stakes for these characters. So why not, Marvel? You've got this whole series called What If. And even in the What If series, where anything goes, you can do anything you want, it felt really confined. I really didn't see the imagination of decades of comics come together in What If. And
I
I'm
feel like
waiting
if
to
that
see
series had been longer, they could have. If they had more time to build up, because what was there, 6 or 7 episodes?
8.
And they were each, what, a half hour long?
Yeah,
That's-
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
that-
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
so
hoping-
disappointing.
I'm hoping with season 2, they kind of up the ante a little bit with What If.
They need to. They need to up the ante with everything. Ant-Man should have died. You can make an argument for Wasp, too. That's their relationship moment. They die together.
Yeah, because
I don't care.
they've been tied at the hip for the whole of the MCU.
Well,
pretty
even like
much.
that, if they're gonna defeat Kang, why would not make it a big thing where they take him out as they take themselves out too?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, then it makes more
Oh.
sense. Because it was really weird, because that was my whole thing with Kang. It's like, it was hard to tell how powerful he really was, because
Right.
in one minute he's like
he got
holding
beat by
everybody up.
ants, by
Yeah.
the way.
In one minute he's all powerful and defeating all kinds of people. The next minute, yeah, people are just beating him up left and right. You're like, wait, is he
He got beat-
powerful or not?
like in Loki, the final episode of Loki, he was like teleporting all around. They couldn't touch him
Yeah.
if he didn't let them touch him. And then this, he just gets like tackled by a couple of ants that break through his force field. And
Yeah, I don't.
and
and
that's
I-
what
I'm
that's
sure-
what
Well,
takes
the
him
whole-
out of the final
The
fight.
whole thing is like, you get a storyline kind of behind him a little bit in the movie, but you don't really get to understand, okay, why is he powerful or what can he really do?
Kang should have a lot more screen time in this, I feel like.
In a movie that felt like Kang's movie.
Yeah, where he's like the centerpiece of the movie poster, where it's like all him, and then the little ant people are on his finger.
Yes, it didn't feel like the power struggle. The only time that it felt like that was when he's threatening Scott
Yeah,
in the prison. You could see his power, and that was the best part of Jonathan Majors' performance, was his calm in that scene. Is like, he's not nervous at all that Ant-Man can do anything at all to him.
Mhm.
And it should have felt that way the whole movie. But unfortunately, when you make a character that strong, you have to have some way that the heroes win. And the execution of that was just clunky. It shouldn't have been ants taking him down. That was Hank Pym's moment to shine. I just think that it was really clunky in the way they handled the whole thing, as far as like character development. Where do you go from here?
yeah. I'm not very happy with what they did for Kang in this movie. When they introduced Thor, he killed Loki right off the bat. Like, that was one of the first things he did, getting on camera, and that sticks with you. That's what should have happened here.
Something.
Mhm.
Maybe leave it for the end of the movie so Ant-Man doesn't die halfway through the Ant-Man movie. But
You know,
And even if you want to say that this version of Kang severely had his powers dampened, being in the quantum realm, being outside of his area that he could have power, And then you bring on this Council of Kangs at the end. Oh, there's the real threat. Okay, I see where you're going there. But the problem is you've just undercut the entire movie. You've just undercut Ant-Man by saying, oh, all he did was take care of the lesser of all the Kangs, and that it really wasn't that big of a deal. That's what you did there. So one or the other has to be true. Either the Council of Kangs is not a big deal, or that Kang wasn't a big deal. So by saying that the Council of Kangs is the big draw for Avengers 5 and 6, you've just told us that Ant-Man did something. He barely did something against a villain that wasn't that great.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Council of Kangs is meant to be the more looming threat.
Yes.
I mean, Kang died in this movie, so obviously they're all that's
Supposedly
left.
died.
That's 2 Kangs down,
Yeah.
3,000 to go.
Yeah.
Let's make a list.
We'll continue on this thread. I think we need to take a little bit of a break. And then we'll have much more to talk about. I was going to say something really funny, but I just didn't.
We'll try to be more upbeat. Let's try to be more upbeat.
I'm just kind of downtrodden and
Yeah.
sullen.
Thanks, Marvel.
Yeah.
Back.
We're back.
That's perfect.
That was a good intro.
Okay. That's
Hi,
it.
kids.
Now we're gonna leave. I don't think we can do better than that.
Nope, better than Ant-Man 3.
Yep. Here you
A
go.
lot more thought put into it.
So we're really ragging on this movie that feels a lot more like Thor 2, Thor 4. In some ways, Captain Marvel, I think felt vanilla in the same way.
At least Captain Marvel set stuff up.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the more endearing parts of that movie was what it set up. It set up the beeper. That's what it did. Did it set up anything else? Was that just it? Hey, just call me.
I guess. I mean,
Hey, Nick, call me. I'll be over on Neptune. Wink.
I mean, it explained how Shield got the Tesseract. I guess
Okay.
because they lost it.
And
at
how
the end
she
of-
got her powers.
Yeah, that's fine. That's enough.
Yeah, that's
That's plenty for Brie Larson.
Yeah, she's awful. So yeah, I had 3 major issues that I mean, there was a lot of issues combined, but I combined them into 3 major things. The first one we've talked about at length. That's the CGI. The second thing I had an issue with was that it's a story about the multiverse that stayed in one place the entire time. If you're gonna go, what was King's city called? Chronopolis? Is that what it was called?
I don't remember ever hearing.
Am I
the
mixing
name.
my?
I mean, that's what it's called in the comics. I
Yeah,
don't know that
okay.
they ever called it that.
They didn't come out and call it that, I don't think. But it was kind of obvious in the building setup, and like it was like spirally structures. Felt like Watchmen when he's on Mars. Kind of looked like that a little bit.
People on the internet actually tease, like in Ant-Man 2 when they go and get Janet out of the quantum realm.
Yeah, they get all quantum-y for a minute.
Like there's a brief snippet where people have pointed out where it looks like a city, and people have said that that's Chronopolis or whatever.
Well, they made it look a lot like that in Ant-Man 3.
Yeah.
And so I would just argue that that's what it is. But my point is, that's the only place we go. And at some point we hop on an animal and go somewhere else, but it's like 40 minutes away somewhere else. Like we're going to go to a different city. Not like we're going to hop in a portal and check out what else this multiverse has. It was really weird. Like it was almost in the way that The Last Jedi is a Star Wars story, but you stay on a planet the whole time. If you notice, The Last Jedi is on a planet. We don't see a single outer space fight the whole time in that movie.
The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Aren't they chasing the rebels through space for like most of that movie? And then they go to the salt planet?
Was that a fight?
At the beginning, it started out as a fight with the bombers that have gravity in space.
I'm gonna stay on this ledge. I'm staying right where I am. I'm perched on this because I watched the movie and I was
It's
thinking,
barely a space fight.
this is not Star Wars. But anyway, I digress.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
The
like
bombs at default.
yeah,
space,
they're in
somehow
space.
they fall.
the Last Jedi was a hot mess. Let's just leave it there.
That should be its own episode right there. We'll tear the shit.
Well, I think we might go back to that.
We'll tear that one up.
But at any rate, that's how I felt with this movie. It's like you're gonna say we're in the quantum realm, and like the entrance into the quantum realm was a lot like Doctor Strange when he's flipping through these multiverses, and then you don't show us anything. How did Doctor Strange give us more of the multiverse than the quantum realm
in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
So it's like the quantum realm's supposed to be like a multiverse, like a different.
They're tying it all together.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This is where Kang
See, I
is
think
in between time
that-
and space.
'cause that's
the
what-
quantum realm is outside of the multiverse. I think because
It's outside of space and time.
yeah, that's the only reason I say that is because all the other multiverses have time in them.
Okay,
And
but
this
they
one doesn't.
build the quantum realm to this point as a place that's just infinite and like you don't know where. Like there was even a line where Hank Pym is like, "I've never seen this." It's like, no, you wouldn't because it's
You were in
different.
the quantum realm for all of 2 minutes in the last movie.
Right. So
course you
is
haven't
the
seen it.
quantum realm just like
You'll
a
coop.
planet? Is it one planet? The quantum realm?
Well, they almost make it like
they seem like it's one place.
not a quantum realm, but a quantum place. Yeah,
like
you
like
said.
a
Yeah, 'cause
planet
I'd say it's
inside
like
the
a
planet.
plane of existence almost.
Inside the planet.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's assumed
It's a
'cause-
microverse.
I wish they would delve more into like the quantum realm. Like,
Yes. That's what I wish too, Luke.
is it a spherical world? Is it
What is it?
is it just this table, but it's infinite?
This table's not infinite. I don't get your reference.
No, like the whole world is like a table, but there's just no end to the edge of it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So there's no corners to the four-corner coffee table.
This is an analogy.
Okay.
For the
I'm trying
quantum
to follow
realm.
you. Trying to follow
That's
you.
fine. You're not following me. That's fine. Let's move on.
Like, because when you say it's a table, I'm picturing a
This
table.
this is a table, but it's flat, like a
It
plane.
is flat.
Yep.
It's flat, but
I'm just
then
gonna stare at the camera until you move
Okay.
on.
I just want to understand you more. That's all.
yeah, because
The third thing, CGI, multiverse that stays in one place. The third thing was the absolute lazy writing of like how we get there, why we're there, what the second act is about. Because we don't see Kang till Act 2. Kang shows up in Act 2. We get the full story in Act 2.
Mhm.
It was so clunky the way they set that story up for one reason. You're hinging this whole thing on the fact that Janet never once mentioned King the Conqueror.
You
This is so stupid.
just brought that up, and I remember that I hated that too. The stupid trope where
Mhm.
one member of the
The
party, the group, knows information that is detrimental to saving their lives and making sure they don't get murdered by the time god that lives in this plane of existence. And she's like,
well, how
I can't talk about it.
How about
I did
how
something
about the fact
bad.
that literally the fact that she's been gone all that time, and did they not ask her what she was doing that whole time?
No, they asked her. They
Oh.
said several
And she was
times.
just
We
like-
tried to ask you about what happened while you were down there. Do you want to talk about it? No. I don't
While
wanna talk
she's
about it.
on Earth, it makes sense that she doesn't feel the need to talk about it.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It
They're
does.
they're
I mean-
studying the quantum realm.
Mhm.
Don't you think they should know not to tamper with the quantum realm?
Did she know that they were?
Yes. They're
I-
quantum
I,
scientists.
I thought Cassie
No.
was the one that like built the thing.
Well,
by
yes, but
herself.
Hank knew about it.
No,
She built
no.
it by herself.
But no, she knew that they researched. She just didn't realize that they were actually communicating with it, because that was her problem. Her
Okay.
problem wasn't that they were researching it. The problem is when they told her, because they were talking about it and she was fine. It wasn't until this communicates with it where she
Yeah.
started to flip out.
You're right. I remember that now.
The whole thing
But yeah,
is
but
stupid. Like, why would Why would you not tell a group of scientists, some of the most brilliant minds on the planet, apparently?
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell them not to mess with the quantum realm.
One of them, 17.
This is when I feel like the script was written in crayon, because this is the trope. You were talking about the trope where you're kind of dancing around the trope that bothers me. The trope that bothers me isn't that it was because she did something bad. It was the character has a secret, doesn't want to tell her family because they want to protect them. That's in like every other movie. Like you have a secret you don't want to tell, but you should tell. If you don't, it's like you're actually causing more harm by not telling them. And I have a lot of examples of this in different movies, but I wanted to open it up to you guys. Can you think of movies where the character, like, for no reason at all, keeps a secret from another character that you're just like, why would you not just tell them?
Yeah, the Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
When they're trying to decide whether to go over the mountain or through the mines of Moria, Gandalf's just like, "Are you sure about that?"
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Not telling them why. Or
Like,
anything. Yeah.
You do know that there's an ancient fire demon in this mine that killed all the dwarves that used to live there. Gimli, your cousin, by the way.
yeah.
Are you sure you want to go there? I mean,
Gimli's the one that's like, let's go to the mines of Moria.
yeah.
And then Gandalf is strangely quiet.
He's like, yeah, your cousin's definitely there, but let's not go there.
It's like he wants to fight the ball.
Yeah.
Secretly, he wants to.
He wanted all that XP from killing it.
Yeah.
All for
I
himself.
mean, he did come back all white.
He had an upgrade, new gear, new powers.
Got a new robe. New robe.
A new horse.
Yeah.
He came back with a mount.
Sweet
Yeah.
flashlight.
Yeah.
Flashlight that scares the Nazgul.
Yeah. So he did a lot of cool things. Well, that's a good example. Any other movie that you can think of?
That's the only one I got.
Come on, Zach.
I know
pull your
there's
weight.
more, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
I'm trying.
Where you're just scratching your head and you're like, why would you not tell me that? I'm just trying to protect you. I have some examples. You keep thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to steer away from the MCU for a minute, but how about we start with Little Mermaid and Hotel Transylvania? The humans aren't really that bad, but in both of these movies, the dad figure keeps humans from Ariel or what I can't remember what her name is in Hotel Transylvania. Same trope though, like you're protecting me by not telling me that the human. It's a tired trope. You ever seen The Parent Trap?
The one with Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, well, that's the remake. So if you've seen it, it's the same in the original too. The twins are separated at birth. The parents they haven't.
What?
I was just laughing. Go.
Did I spoil the movie for you?
No. I was laughing because you're right. They there's no reason why they shouldn't have told
There's
them.
no reason to separate these two twins.
I need to see that movie.
Either the mom or the dad needs to say, I'm not. I don't need to have you can have the kids. I'll visit. You can have the kids. But these two people apparently hate each other so much that they split their children.
You don't have a sibling.
and they just say, you go your way, I'll go mine. F you. And they do that. And they live their separate life. But then, just by seeing each other again, they're just like, oh, I remember I love you. It's like, did you though? Because you split the family up like that. What a bunch of monsters. But anyway, that's another example.
It's been so long since I've seen The Parent Trap.
Just what a bunch of monsters. You would keep your twins' daughters apart? And they found each other by some weird chance.
And they were naturally best friends.
Well, they weren't at first. They hated each other
but
at first. Then they realized that, this thing
That's
where
true.
you look like me is really, really intriguing.
They're over there doing like the mirror dance. Like, are you doing what I'm doing?
I mean, that suspends belief anyway. But if I find another Dylan, I'm going to be freaked out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, ew, you're mean. But anyway, that's another example of like, that would be a good time to tell, I did it to protect you. No, you didn't. You did it because you're a jerk.
The twist where Luke Skywalker finds out Darth Vader's his father. Obi-Wan.
Do you think Obi-Wan should have told him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great example.
Yeah.
to prepare him. I mean,
Who knew that Ray's grandpa was Palpatine? Apparently everybody but Ray.
But
yeah,
I think Finn might have even yelled it.
I feel like
At some point,
he
Finn
didn't
probably
say
yelled it.
he never screamed Ray Palpatine. He just screamed.
You're
Ray.
right. He just said Ray.
that's a secret he had. He was gonna try to tell her,
He,
but he never did it.
They never let him finish the two words.
What about Aladdin? I think it's stupid that he doesn't tell her that he has a genie and that's why he's a prince now.
Because there's no rule.
There's no rule.
Yeah.
You're a prince. You can marry her. I am the boy from the marketplace, but I'm cooler now.
The genie has warped reality, and I am now a prince.
Yeah. So take it or leave it. I'm still that guy.
I mean, she didn't want to marry
I'm
real
dressed
princes
better.
anyway.
I'm dressed way better. I'm the best of both worlds, like you said. I'm the best of both worlds. I am a prince, but I'm not a douche. You should marry me. End of story. But no, I'm going to not tell you. It's just stupid. Like why do you have that secret? I'm going to land the plane with a couple MCU examples. And I bring up the MCU examples because this is a trope that goes on and on and on. They can't get away from like mimicking the same story in the MCU.
The Marvel formula.
Thor.
There's a term for it.
Why does Odin not tell Loki he's a frost giant? It's to protect you.
Mm-hmm. No, really.
Yeah.
You're
Makes it
adopted.
a lot worse.
I mean,
You're adopted.
He once Loki figures it out, he even tells him, "I meant for you to be the bridge between our two worlds." He never told him about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that would be
he's
something
in-
you
might
should
have worked.
coach.
He's in his 30s. You should tell him.
You should
sometime.
coach your son. This is what I'm prepping you for in the kingdom. You're not going to be the king. That's Thor, but you have a purpose.
He's at his 35th birthday party and was like, "You're adopted."
Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of whispers it.
Yeah.
That's one example. My
I
next
didn't
one
think
is
of that one.
Iron Man 2. Howard Stark leaves breadcrumbs for this new element
Mhm.
for Tony Stark to find. Now, this element just happens to be, this is lazy writing, happens to be exactly the element
Iron
that
Man.
helps him with a new arc reactor.
Mhm.
But Tony Stark has to go through this crazy labyrinth of information just to find these breadcrumbs. Now, I guess the running theory is, well, he was testing his son. He wasn't worthy of finding that element if he didn't find it on his own. That's also a trope. But
The only thing
it's a stupid thing that he wouldn't just tell his son, like, hey, I'm getting older. You need to know this.
I think the only way I can make that make sense is because of the way Tony was at the beginning of Iron Man 1 before he gets captured.
He wasn't ready.
He was a no.
You
He
just
was
did.
not a nice
You
person.
just whispered it,
You
but
whispered,
we all
I'm pretty
heard it.
sure it would
The mics they didn't catch it.
Yeah. Okay.
just
He-
use like
he was-
playground
let's bank on
insult.
that.
He was very
You had,
irresponsible.
man.
He was very irresponsible, and his dad probably didn't. And even like when he uses the barf glasses, he's still irresponsible. The last time he talks to his dad,
Yes.
I don't see a reason why his dad would share that world-changing knowledge with someone that irresponsible. What he might do with it, you know?
Right. And he was in no place to get that. But like for the plot of that movie, it needed to save his life. There should have been a better way to have that information given to him. Like, because you want to say that he earned it. Like, that's his arc, is that he earned it now. He saved
Yeah.
himself. Well, did he though? Or is he just really smart and he figured out the test early? That's what he didn't look like he grew at all from that. So that really bothered me. I'm gonna jump to that same storyline, but in Civil War. Cap protects Bucky.
Mhm.
Should he have told Tony
I mean,
about Bucky killing his parents? Because it certainly caused a lot more mayhem at the end of the movie than it would have.
see, that one's hard to do because that's his only and best friend that he's known literally his whole life, pretty much. I mean, a lot of people would say yes, just because he was good friends with Tony, but a lot of people would say no because, I mean,
Well, he pretty much knew.
He probably
that wasn't actually like I think did he say to protect Tony, but it's not.
It's not to protect
No.
Tony
No,
so
to
much as to protect Bucky.
it was
yeah.
for
To
yeah.
protect Doug because he knew
But
he would kill him.
A certain amount of love for Tony is that he also didn't want to cause emotional harm to Tony or to break up the Avengers, for that matter.
That was a rock and a hard place. for
Right,
sure.
and I get that. But at the end of the day, it's a Russian super soldier program that they brainwashed him. I mean, obviously Tony's going to be devastated by the news, but why would you attack Bucky now? It didn't fit with Tony Stark's character, who always overanalyzes everything anyway. He would pause and say something sarcastic. He wouldn't fight him.
I think if he hadn't seen the footage of Bucky doing it, he might not have attacked him, but he literally just witnessed the guy standing to his left strangle his mom and punch his dad to death with his metal arm.
So you're saying that in the moment.
I think he just
Okay, what about 20 minutes later into the fight?
well, by that time they're already fighting.
Nobody says,
Might
hey,
as well finish.
Might as well just keep going.
nobody says, hey, Tony, calm down a minute. Let's talk.
Cap did.
I would keep saying it.
But Cap said it once, and then he put his shield through Tony's heart.
I would just kind of keep saying it.
He was like, calm down. He's like, no.
Yep. Say uncle. What else?
Stay down.
Did you guys like Shang-Chi?
I liked elements of it. I don't know that I'd have to watch it again. It's been so long since I watched that.
He keeps his identity from Awkwafina's character for her own good. And there's really no reason for him to do that.
Well, yeah. Well, she doesn't know people.
It doesn't matter. Like if she knows that he knows karate.
Yeah. Yeah. Why does that matter?
It doesn't matter.
What was his
It
identity
stupid-
that he was keeping from her? I mean,
that he was
original
part of the 10 Rings, like
his dad,
son. You know, like that his father is I'll say immortal.
Gotcha.
I mean, that was kind of a big deal, you know?
I need to rewatch that movie because I don't.
It's not bad. It's a good rewatch, I think.
Luke originally didn't like it because of all the karate.
That's true. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was more like a
That was
kung fu movie
yeah,
for Luke.
Kung fu movie. He didn't like it because of the kung fu movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember, but that's what he said.
The fighting was good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's another one. The last one I have in the MCU, Spider-Man Far From Home. It bothers me to no end that they left him not knowing anyone, not talking to anyone. He's standing there about to talk to Mary Jane.
I love that.
Even if you see that she's happy without you, or at least moving on, you can be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just talk to her. She's already interested in you. You seem like an interesting person.
Well, a lot of the movie was about how people close to him suffer because they know he's Spider-Man. They know who he is.
Okay, now you get a chance to start over and do better at keeping your secret.
Well, here's the thing with that though. Through all those movies, the reason they got in trouble is because they didn't know, and then somebody found out, and then all of a sudden they're getting kidnapped for some reason, and they don't know why.
So,
then they find out. So if they would know ahead of time, they'd know how to.
Spider-Man's just not allowed to have any friends anymore.
Apparently not. Neither is Batman.
Yeah.
Batman and Spider-Man.
Batman's more tuned to that way of life, but
right, but it's the same kind of writing as like anybody that's close to Batman ends up getting kidnapped, hurt, killed, turns into a villain.
Batman trains his friends to be superheroes with him.
Vicky Vale?
No, I'm thinking more like the Robins and Batgirl.
Yeah, but like he just has these flings with the women, and the women end up either getting hurt or kidnapped, or like Princess Peach.
They knew the risks.
They get down.
Yeah. So anyway, I just all that to say, like the same trope over and over again about like something you should tell everybody else. There was no reason whatsoever that Janet didn't tell her family of scientists that there was a god in the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm. See, I play a lot of D&D, so I'm trying to think of this as if I was like in that party, say I was Ammon. I'd hate Janet for the rest of my life if she didn't tell me that. Like, there's a dragon behind this door. Do I tell my friends or do I let them walk through it? you know?
Yeah. Thanks, nerd. D&D nerd.
D&D's not nerdy.
Okay.
It's cool.
All right. Maybe now it is. Back in the day, I would have put your head in the toilet.
You want to go? Let's go.
I don't have any more thoughts on Ant-Man 3. I'm disappointed that it sets up Phase 5 in a way that it's already feeling underwhelmed. I think Guardians has a shot at being an emotional recharge in the way that Spider-Man Far From Home was.
Okay.
But even Spider-Man Far From Home didn't give us a lot of detail towards what was coming.
Yeah.
So that scares me. I think Guardians will be a good movie because James Gunn's a good director. And that movie will be a good entry in Phase 5.
I don't think that's going to connect to a lot of it.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is that it'll be a good standalone, but it won't save Phase 5.
Maybe the post-credit scenes will throw in a little nugget about
Do you think
a Kang or something?
because they set it up? Do you think the Loki, the show, will be good?
I think Loki will
Season
be
2?
one of the better Disney Plus shows. I think it has been, and I think it will continue
I
to be
want
that.
season 2 of Loki and Wanda. That's about it.
The chemistry of Mobius, it's Mobius, right?
Morbius?
No, that's the vampire.
Mephisto.
Morbid time.
Mephisto?
No,
What are you trying
Luke
to say?
or Owen Wilson.
Owen
Yeah,
Wilson.
yeah,
Okay, sorry. Okay.
I
What's
got
his
that
name?
at-
Mobius.
It was
Being
Mobius.
Mobius or something.
It was
Yeah,
Mobius.
something like that. Yeah.
Because he's
His character dynamic with Loki, Tom Hiddleston, like the two of them have great chemistry on screen. That show was awesome.
Mhm.
And I think it'll be awesome adding Jonathan Majors into as a more prominent figure because he's going to be in like all over season 2. He's going to be in there.
I mean,
so that'll be great.
in the post-credit teaser,
Yes.
they're following him or looking for him, I guess.
Okay. Well, last couple minutes, I had some movies. Maybe I'll just say the movie. You tell me your thoughts in like a sentence or two.
Mhm.
Just whether you've seen it or not, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Your thoughts on it coming out. Cocaine Bear.
Looks funny and crazy. Just a concept.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would watch it, but not in theaters.
I feel like an IMAX would just be incredible.
yeah, I think it'd be insane.
But I get why you say that. Like,
I've in the
what am I
trailer.
going to put my money towards?
Yeah.
In the trailer, the bear looks so terrible.
Yeah,
I think that's on purpose a little
Maybe
bit,
it's a
it
little
is.
comedic.
but I don't know. That's just a movie I'd rather watch at home.
All right, so I'm a couple episodes into The Last of Us. What are your thoughts?
I haven't seen any of that.
I haven't heard, but I've heard a lot of good things.
Okay.
That's on my list.
I purposely skipped episode 3 because it was a side story about somebody that they stumbled upon their cabin. And the side story was all about just a homosexual relationship. And it's not that I'm against that. I'm against the fact that it did not further the story whatsoever. And the director, before I started watching it, the director actually came out and said, I have to trick viewers into watching a love story like this just to get people to see this. So automatically I'm out. Like if you're going to tell me that's the reason you wrote this into your story, I'm already out.
I heard that they said that episode. Not that, even the people that said I didn't care. I mean, it wasn't bad or anything like that, but it had nothing really to do
Right.
with it.
So you can thank the
Yeah,
director.
yeah.
Because the director said that,
Got me.
now you got me. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
So thank you. I
Yeah.
mean, I would have watched all of the episode. I
Yeah.
would have analyzed it. I would have thought about it. But because you told me about your agenda politically, you've just lost a viewer.
Bamboozled you.
Yeah, it was just, and I heard a lot of people that even doesn't, and it was like people with, no matter what their view was, they all didn't really like the episode.
Right.
It wasn't.
All
It
around.
wasn't. It had nothing to do with what you.
Because it didn't
Well,
continue the story.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It's like even people. It's like, oh, it's not. No, they said, well, I want to keep going with the story.
Right.
Why is this a whole episode?
But I'll
Kinda
pick
like
it
the
up
walk-
before.
Kind of like Walking Dead when they did do that. They'd follow something for a long time. You're like,
Just
wait a
a-
minute, go back
just
to
a
the.
one-off episode.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
All right,
move
go
on quickly. Knock at the Cabin.
I've been wanting to watch it. I haven't seen it, but
Looks
it looks good.
good.
It does look good.
Batista's amazing and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah. I do want to see it.
I'll
So
be honest, I haven't even seen trailers for that.
okay,
it
get
looks
out.
good.
Avatar. I haven't seen the sequel yet.
I haven't, and
I'm waiting for it to come out on the
Okay.
streaming.
I'll watch it. But like,
They got killed in the reviews.
I'm sure it's probably it's
Repetitive.
probably neat CGI and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I just didn't. It didn't.
That's
bring me
just
into it.
haters.
Yeah.
That's just haters.
I'm just looking at story. Like
Yeah.
they literally repeated the same story. So it's
Okay.
Pocahontas the third time.
It'd be funny if it was more like the second Pocahontas. That'd be funny as hell.
I don't know. Maybe I'd see it if it was more Pocahontas.
Yeah, you're
They,
right.
they bring the blue people back to Earth.
Puss in Boots.
That's also on my list that I want to watch.
One Last Wish or something. I
I've
think it's
heard
called.
You haven't
nothing
seen
but
it?
good things about it.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
but
I'm
I may
surprised
see it.
you would seen it yet.
Right.
It looks interesting. I want to see it because I like
I like
Antonio
the,
Banderas.
yeah, I liked him as a.
I've heard it's got like a
Yeah.
really deep story. And,
Okay.
And that's what's going to
I may watch it. Creed 3, last one.
That looks really good.
I
definitely
fell
wanna see
asleep.
it. Oh,
I fell
really?
asleep in the middle of Creed 1.
I need to
Oh,
I just
okay.
haven't gone back to see 2, and I will see 3.
This one,
I need to see the first.
I need to see the first two also, but this one here kind of got. I like. It seems like it's a better storyline.
Do you need? Have you seen 3?
No,
Oh.
no, I haven't seen. I'm just saying from what I've seen from the previews and stuff, it just
Yeah.
Okay.
it got my attention more than the other two.
Okay. Well, that's it. We're running out of time here, but I want to say thank you once again to everybody that's hung out with us, and we're growing as a brand. We're going to have lots of cool things to keep coming at you with. So stick around. We'll see you next time.
All right, later.
Peace.
Bye.